With so many ongoing BL series right now, I decided to invest my time in binge watching all those series that have already finished airing so I could enjoy them all at once. In this video, we will discuss those BL series that ended recently and my thoughts on them. If I missed some titles on this list, feel free to share them in the comment section. Without further ado, let's get started. Beginning our list with Love You Teacher. I never expected a BL featuring a grown man who periodically thinks he is a 7-year-old to completely steal my heart, but Love You Teacher genuinely turned out to be an absolute masterpiece. The premise of Perth playing a kid-hating primary school teacher forced to become a caregiver for his brain-injured boyfriend Santa sounds like a recipe for pure second-hand embarrassment. But the show handles the reality of caregiver burnout with staggering emotional maturity. Perth and Santa absolutely cleared the acting department by serving up the coziest pre-established domestic energy in their flashbacks before delivering a masterclass in heart-wrenching protective devotion in the present day. It is honestly such a comprehensive triumph because the production design makes their apartment feel incredibly lived in and loved, while the legendary Sammy and Kay head a god-tier friend group that actually supports them instead of just causing annoying drama. If you can push past your initial hesitation about the highly unusual plot, this beautifully balanced tear-jerking comfort watch will have you weeping into your blankets over how pure their love is. Next on our list, Sammy's Children's Day. It is an absolute miracle that Sammy's Children's Day managed to turn a gritty retro Hong Kong underworld setting into the most romantic and cinematic piece of BL series I've seen in years. He Changxi and He Yan Zhao have such an aggressively lethal slow burn chemistry that every single intense dialogue between Chu San and Lu Yi genuinely feels like a threat to my emotional stability. I am totally obsessed with how the show perfectly balances the brutal 1980s walled city gang warfare with the hilarious juxtaposition of a razor-sharp financial genius completely house breaking a terrifying blood-soaked mob enforcer into a whiny protective puppy. From the meticulously detailed high-budget set designs that make you practically smell the neon and rain to the god-tier cinematography that literally took this cast all the way to Cannes, the production values are completely off the charts. Even if the dense political plotting requires you to have a literal degree in macroeconomics just to follow the money laundering schemes, the sheer emotional payoff and top-tier acting make this flawless masterpiece a certified 10 out of 10. The third spot on our list, Feel What You Feel. Binge watching Feel What You Feel felt like diving into a beautifully nostalgic university time capsule, especially with the industry finally serving up a rare uncensored Chinese BL that doesn't hold back. I absolutely adored the wholesome law school setup and how the initial academic rivalry between outgoing Yu Lei and introverted Chen Kai melted into genuinely deep soulmate level conversations. The real comedy comes from the absolute whiplash between the two pairings, because while the main couple stays trapped in a frustratingly pure cheek kiss and runaway phase for 7 episodes, the secondary couple is out here aggressively making out right in front of my salad. On the honest side, the main romance gets borderline exhausting near the finish line thanks to a sudden barrage of non-communication cliches, and Chen Kai's reserved personality occasionally translates to facial expressions so flat you'd think he was meditating. Still, even with the late-stage pacing drag and the struggle of squeezing the plot into just 8 short episodes, the gorgeous visuals and top-tier chemistry make this cozy slow burn a thoroughly charming win. Also included on our list, Only Friends, Dream On. I strapped myself in for Only Friends Dream On expecting another absolute goldmine of toxic multi-partner chaos. But the universe instead handed us a surprisingly safe theater kid drama that left half its intriguing subplot completely abandoned in the wings. This narrative fumbling is exactly why a lot of the fandom ultimately checked out, as viewers grew tired of watching heavy storylines get completely ignored while the writers forced the wrong characters to apologize to each other. Honestly, it's a bit of a tragedy because the sheer acting talent on screen is undeniable, with Mix delivering an absolute masterclass performance that effortlessly carries the emotional weight of the series. When the show actually stops tripping over its own feet, the electric tension and genuinely sweet moments between pairings like Earth Mix and Do Boom remind you why GMMTV's heavy hitters are so highly praised. It certainly isn't the unhinged masterpiece we were hoping for, but if you treat it as a flawed standalone rather than a proper sequel, the phenomenal visuals and stellar cast make it a thoroughly enjoyable, if occasionally frustrating, ride. The first Japanese BL on our list, Life in Smoky Blue. It took me exactly one episode of Life in Smoky Blue to realize this wasn't your typical fluffy romance, but rather a beautifully moody midlife crisis therapy session masquerading as a Japanese BL. The sheer brilliance of the main leads playing a pair of 30-something former office rivals navigating career burnout and an ancient one-night stand provides some of the most mature, authentic, and smolderingly intimate chemistry on a BL series. Admittedly, the plot moves at an absolutely glacial pace, and the heavily filtered melancholy tone might make you feel like you need an actual prescription for antidepressants just to survive the endless rain-soaked brooding. It also trips up by cutting a few fan-favorite chapters from the original manga, occasionally trading the source material's deeper socio-economic nuances for late-stage character avoidance that will leave you screaming at your screen. But even with the agonizingly slow burn and the heavy dose of existential dread, the cozy domesticity of their evolving relationship makes this realistic BL a top-tier comfort watch for the grown-ups. The sixth spot on our list, Wishing Upon the Shooting Stars. My expectations were completely blown away by the sun-kissed ocean breeze magic of Wishing Upon the Shooting Stars, which takes the wild premise of a guy whose wish to be a total stranger to his own father actually comes true and turns it into a genuinely beautiful journey of emotional healing. The ultimate selling point is the legendary mind-blowing chemistry between the main leads, which builds up to a deeply tender episode 8 intimacy scene that genuinely deserves an Oscar for its gorgeous masterfully shot cinematography. However, you definitely need a massive vault of patience to survive because the pacing operates strictly on island time, resulting in agonizingly slow burn stretches where absolutely nothing happens except characters staring beautifully at the sea or navigating bizarre cryptic comic book artist subplots. It also requires you to completely switch off your brain regarding the actual mechanics of the supernatural wish granting, which makes zero logical sense and culminates in a borderline hilarious late-stage scramble where a deity just hand waves everything to fix a rushed finale. But even with the narrative plot holes and the glacial progression, the raw and healthy performances from the beautiful cast and the cozy community vibes make this flawed fairy tale an absolute top-tier comfort watch. Last but definitely not least, Unexpectedly Naughty Fukami. Someone needs to hold the production team accountable because Unexpectedly Naughty Fukami promised a wild and spicy ride but instead delivered a masterclass in narrative frustration. The biggest offense is the criminally short episode runtime, which forces the plot to move at supersonic speed and leaves absolutely zero room for the characters to breathe or logically develop their relationship. For a show that literally puts naughty in the name, the actual intimacy scenes are a massive letdown, serving up hilariously awkward angles and rigid dead fish energy that completely kills the tension they spent all episode building. It doesn't help that the dialogue often translates into something so deeply cringe-inducing that you will find yourself physically recoiling into your couch from the sheer second-hand embarrassment. By the time the final credits rolled abruptly on a deeply rushed conclusion, I was left feeling less like I watched a complete series and more like I survived a chaotic heavily edited montage that never quite reached its full potential. And those are the BL series I've binge watched recently. Which recently concluded BL series have you watched and would recommend to everyone? Thank you for watching. That's it and see you on the next one.